Imagine a time long before technology and written words, a time when humans first began to carve out their place in the world. In a small corner of the Mediterranean, the land we now call Greece was home to a series of civilizations whose legacy would shape the entire world. Ancient Greece gave us much of what we know today: art, philosophy, democracy, and even the very idea of civilization. But how did it all begin? In this video, we'll embark on a journey through time, from the early Cycladic islands, to the magnificent palaces of the Minoans, to the fierce warriors of Mycenae, and finally, the survival and rebirth of the Iron Age that paved the way for classical Greece. Each civilization contributed something extraordinary to the world. Let's discover their stories. Our story begins on the beautiful and mysterious Cycladic islands, located in the heart of the Aegean Sea. These islands were home to a society that, over 5,000 years ago, produced some of the earliest known works of art in the ancient world. The people of the Cyclades were gifted artists, and their most famous creations were marble statues, known for their simplicity and elegance. Many of these sculptures depict women with folded arms, and though we don't know exactly why they made them, they are believed to have been used for religious or ceremonial purposes. Some might have been fertility symbols or representations of goddesses, while others may have been grave markers or offerings. What is clear, however, is that these statues show the Cycladic people's advanced understanding of form and beauty. But the Cycladic people were not just artists, they were also sailors. They traveled by boat across the Aegean Sea, connecting with the Minoans on Crete and even reaching the Greek mainland. This network of trade helped spread new ideas and goods, planting the seeds for future civilizations. Though they left behind no written records, the Cycladic people laid the foundation for what would later become one of the most powerful civilizations in the ancient world, the Minoans. Next, we sail south to the island of Crete, home to the Minoans, one of the first great civilizations of the ancient Mediterranean. Around 2000 BCE, the Minoans built magnificent palaces, the most famous being the Palace of Knossos. These palaces were not just grand homes for kings, they were centers of religion, government, and trade. The Minoans were an advanced society with plumbing systems, paved roads, and massive storage rooms filled with goods from all over the Mediterranean. The Minoans were also exceptional artists. They painted stunning frescoes on the walls of their palaces, depicting scenes from everyday life, including the famous bull-leaping ceremony. In this daring sport, people would grab the horns of a bull and leap over its back. These images, filled with bright colors, show the Minoans' love for nature and their connection to the animals they revered. The Minoans also gave us the famous myth of the Minotaur. King Minos of Crete, in the legend, trapped a half-man, half-bull creature in a labyrinth beneath his palace. The winding maze of Knossos may have been the inspiration for this story. Sadly, the Minoan civilization collapsed after a catastrophic volcanic eruption on the nearby island of Thera. The eruption caused massive tsunamis and ash clouds that devastated Crete. The Minoans' power faded, but their legacy, both in art and in myth, lived on. By 1600 BCE, the Mycenaeans emerged as the dominant civilization on mainland Greece. Their cities, like Mycenae and Tiryns, were known for their massive stone walls and impressive fortifications, designed to keep out invaders. The Lion Gate at Mycenae, with its massive stones and intricate carvings, is one of the most famous examples of Mycenaean architecture. The Mycenaeans were a warrior society. They lived in palaces filled with treasures, gold, silver, and weapons, many of which were discovered in tombs. The Mask of Agamemnon, found in one of the royal tombs, is one of the most famous artifacts from this time. The Mycenaeans were also skilled traders, reaching out across the Mediterranean to Egypt, Cyprus, and Anatolia. They traded goods like olive oil, wine, and pottery, and in return, they received valuable materials like gold and ivory. But the Mycenaeans are best remembered through the epic stories of their warriors. The Iliad and Odyssey, two of the most famous works of literature, tell the stories of heroes like Agamemnon, Achilles, and Odysseus. These warriors fought in the Trojan War, a legendary conflict between the Greeks and the Trojans, sparked by the abduction of Helen. The Mycenaean civilization, however, did not last. Around 1200 BCE, their cities were destroyed in a wave of invasions, natural disasters, and internal conflict. The Mycenaean world came to an end, and Greece entered a dark period, the Iron Age. The fall of the Mycenaeans marked the beginning of the Dark Age of Greece. For centuries, Greece struggled. Cities were abandoned, writing was lost, and life became more basic. But despite these hardships, the Greek people kept their culture alive through oral traditions. Iron began to replace bronze during this time, making tools and weapons stronger and more affordable. Pottery evolved as well, moving from simple geometric designs to more intricate and artistic patterns. One of the most important contributions during this period was the preservation of Greece's great stories. Poets like Homer, though perhaps not even alive during the time of the Mycenaeans, recited tales of the great heroes and gods. These stories became the backbone of Greek identity and would later be written down in works like the Iliad and Odyssey. By 900 BCE, Greece was starting to recover. Villages grew into towns, trade routes reopened, and new city-states began to rise, setting the stage for the classical age of Greece. From the islands of the Cyclades to the powerful walls of Mycenae, from the royal palaces of Crete to the struggles of the Iron Age, the story of ancient Greece is one of resilience, creativity, and lasting influence. The Greeks gave us democracy, philosophy, and so much more. Their legacy has been felt for thousands of years and continues to shape our world today. This is just the beginning. There is still much to explore in the history of Greece, from the rise of city-states to the philosophy of Socrates and the birth of democracy. If you've enjoyed this journey, don't forget to subscribe to ChronoCipher the Fact Studio and join us for more stories of ancient Greece. Together, we'll continue to explore the past and uncover the incredible legacy that has shaped our future.